Donald Trump tweets out a Babylon Bee article as an actual news source. Merriam-Webster is officially a bastion of the liberal agenda, and why Donald Trump is trailing in the polls. Before we get started with the news, if you're watching this video, I want to ask that you please go hit that subscribe button on my homepage, like this video, and share it with your friends. My analytics page tells me, says that 75% of my viewers are still not subscribed. Shame on you. Go hit that subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds. I don't have a marketing team or a big fancy studio, so all my traffic comes through word of mouth and you, my viewers. So if you like my content and would like to see more of it, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you never miss a video, and share this video with your friends. And if everyone who watched this video did that, if everyone who watched this video shared it one time, I would be bigger than Joe Rogan by the end of next week. All right, on to the news. So this very, very funny article came up. Twitter shuts down entire network to slow spread of negative Biden news. BabylonB.com. Okay. Via the app Babylon Bee. Wow, this has never been done in history. This includes his really bad interview last night. Why is Twitter doing this? Bringing more attention to Sleepy Joe and Big T. Donnie. There's only one problem with this. The Babylon Bee is a satire website. The Babylon Bee, literally in their bio, fake news you can trust. They are satire. They are the right-wing version of The Onion. So what is this article? Twitter shuts down entire network to slow spread of negative Biden news. Okay. San Francisco, California. In a last-ditch effort to stop negative news stories about Joe Biden and his family from spreading, Twitter shuts down its entire social network Thursday. After seeing account after account tweet out one particularly bad story, CEO Jack Dorsey realized he had to take action. Dorsey smashed a glass box in his office reading "Break in case of bad publicity for Democrats." Inside the case was a sledgehammer for smashing Twitter's servers. Red alert! Shut the servers down. Shut them all down. Dorsey ran downstairs and started smashing as many computers as he could. But he did need to ask for some help, as the hammer was pretty heavy. None of the programmers could lift the hammer either. Eventually, they managed to program a robot to pick up the sledgehammer and smash the servers. After hearing the Twitter employees talk about critical theory, the robot got woke and began attacking all the cis white males. This is too funny. This is fantastic. So this is proof positive that Donald Trump reads a headline and just tweets it. And he hasn't taken the tweet down yet. Can't wait to see what else comes from Hunter's laptop. Trolling king of the new world. Some people think he's trolling. Some people think that he's actually serious. I don't know. I think this is proof that Donald Trump just sees the headline and tweets out whatever he wants to tweet out. I don't understand why he could think that this article was true, because there's no way Twitter could shut down their entire platform and anyone still be able to tweet anything. Oh my gosh. All right. There's your funny story of the day. There's your funny story of the day. On a more serious note, there are people who are hating on Donald Trump for this, and I don't really understand how the left can hate on Donald Trump for mistaking this as a real article, when for years they have been fighting to take down the Babylon Bee. They've been fighting for its destruction for the last several years. So how can you... I don't understand it. How can you blame Donald Trump for this and then turn around and say, take down the Babylon Bee? Oh my Lord. The political left is so inconsistent in their ideologies. It doesn't make any sense to me. Actually, that's a lie. It does make sense. Like I said in yesterday's show, the narrative is all that matters. Facts don't matter, just the narrative. Which is why we get stories like this. Merriam-Webster changes its definition of sexual preference as Barrett gets called out for using the term. Merriam-Webster Dictionary changed its definition of sexual preference to include the word offensive as Democrats slammed Supreme Court nominee Judge Amy Coney Barrett for using the term during Tuesday's Senate confirmation hearings. Prior to Tuesday, the fifth definition listed for preference referred to orientation, as in sexual preference. But as of Wednesday, the fifth definition for preference included the word offensive when used to describe sexual orientation. So Steve Krakauer tweeted this out. As recently as last month, Webster's dictionary included a definition of preference as orientation or sexual preference. Today, they changed it and added the word offensive. Insane. I just checked through Wayback Machine, and it's real. Let's take a look at this tweet. So here it is. Okay. This was, several weeks ago. And then here it is that 2 days ago, yesterday, whatever it was. The act of preferring. Okay. Number 5, they changed it to offensive simply because Amy Coney Barrett used it when talking about when talking through her confirmation hearings. The only problem with that, LGBT website now say sexual preference is an offensive term. They were fine with it last month. This is an article by Daily Wire. After Judge Amy Coney Barrett used the phrase sexual preference during her Supreme Court nomination hearings, Democrats rushed to condemn the term and claim it was outdated and offensive. LGBT websites jumped on the phrase as well, when as recently as last month, they didn't seem to have any issue with the term. On September 25th, one of the leading LGBT publications, The Advocate, published an interview with the cast from Julie and the Phantoms, in which filmmaker Kenny Ortega, who directs the show and is openly gay, uses the term. To come from that history, to be able to now, as a director, be telling these stories that aren't even about coming out, that are about young people who are just comfortable with who they are, no matter what their sexual preference is, it's just glorious and so satisfying, Ortega said in the interview. Nowhere in the article does anyone claim sexual preference is an offensive term. Yet, below the article are links to recent stories from the same publication, including a recent story about claiming Barrett was blasted for using anti-LGBTQ plus term sexual preference. Here's what Barrett said when asked if she would be a consistent vote to roll back hard-fought freedoms and protections for the LGBT community. I do want to be clear that I have never discriminated on the basis of sexual preference and would not ever discriminate on the basis of sexual preference. Like racism, I think discrimination is abhorrent. The Advocate then claimed the term sexual preference, while accepted decades ago, is now considered inaccurate and offensive by LGBTQ plus people because its implication that people choose their sexual orientation or gender identity. Okay, there's a number of problems with that. The biggest one is that we have plenty of preferences that are biologically driven. Okay? I will never smoke a cigarette. I don't want to smoke a cigarette because I think they're disgusting. That's biologically driven. My body would reject that. Pretty biologically driven preference. I prefer Pepsi over Coke and Coke over Dr. Pepper. Biologically driven because Dr. Pepper is barbecue water and doesn't taste as good. There are plenty of other examples I could give, but the list goes on and on and on. Preference does not mean pure choosing. That's not what it means. And so this, we're watching this change in real time. We watched it with Kamala Harris and the Democrats change. What was it? Court packing. We watched that change in real time. Now we're watching this change in real time. This is Orwellian. So what is Orwellian? pertaining to a dystopia like in George Orwell's fiction 1984. Orwellian is an adjective describing a situation, idea, or societal condition that George Orwell identified as being destructive to the welfare of a free and open society. It denotes an attitude and a brutal policy of draconian control by propaganda, surveillance, disinformation, denial of truth, doublethink, and a manipulation of the past, including the underperson, person whose past existence is destroyed, disappeared. So by this definition alone, what we are watching right now is Orwellian. Because we're watching the destruction of the human language. Words mean nothing anymore. Words mean nothing. If this is to become common practice, then words mean nothing. And we cannot have civil conversation because we can't agree on terms. And maybe that's the point. Maybe that's the idea behind all of this. I don't know. But it's a bad idea, and it needs to stop now. You don't see people on the right doing this. This is exclusively a left-wing issue. And I don't know if people on the left are getting upset about it, but people on the right sure are. And they have a right to be upset. Language is changing on a dime. Right-wing media is being kept out of the social sphere. It's being censored. So can you really give conservatives and Republicans a hard time for feeling upset and angry when they are facing literally every barrier that the left can throw at them? I don't think so. I don't think they're in the wrong. I really don't. They have every right to feel upset. Because every institution that is controlled by the left is being thrown at the Republicans. This is why I'm voting for Donald Trump. And I'm not even a Republican. I'm a registered independent. I'm pretty openly libertarian in support of, I'm pretty open in my support of Jo Jorgensen. I was going to vote for her. And then a number of things happened. She voiced a quasi-support of the Black Lives Matter movement and organization, which I'm not even going to get into that in today's episode. She had one of Jeffrey Epstein's lawyers on her short list for Supreme Court nominee, and just a number of other things. And I was like, I'm going to stick away from that. I'm going to stay away from that. I'm going to go vote for Donald Trump. Because the left is going crazy. Changing definitions, throwing every institution they can at the right. They need all the help they can get. They need all the help they can get. So is it really surprising when is it really surprising that when the left is throwing every institution at the right, that Donald Trump is trailing in the polls? Even though Donald Trump is leading on issues like the economy is the number one issue for the 2020 election. And before the shutdowns that Donald Trump didn't even want to initiate, that the Democrats forced, the economy was the number one issue for his re-election campaign. So I don't understand, I do, but I will explain in a minute, how can Donald Trump be losing? He's got the economy, the number one issue. People should be backing him that in droves. Okay, so of the 12 top issues for the 2020 election, it's pretty evenly split between who thinks what's more important. So we got economy, healthcare, Supreme Court appointments, coronavirus outbreak, violent crime, foreign policy, gun policy, race and ethnic inequality, immigration, economic inequality, climate change, and abortion. So there's 12 there. Okay, so we see on the economy, it's pretty, Trump supporters view it pretty high, but so do Biden supporters. Not quite as high as the Trump supporters, but it's up there. As far as healthcare goes, that's more Democrat. So of these 12 issues, there are 3 issues that Democrats think are more important than the economy: healthcare, coronavirus outbreak, and race and ethnic inequality. Okay, everything else is secondary to the economy, to Biden supporters. But to Trump supporters, that's the number one issue. Okay, everything else is pretty low except for violent crime. Okay, this violent crime issue, number 5 on the list, I think is going to unify the right more than any other issue, even more than the economy, I think. Because you see in every major city, controlled by Democrats, mind you, people are rioting. They're burning down buildings. Okay? There are major cities that look like third world country war zones. And you wonder why people are skeptical of Joe Biden? Because it's not the Republicans that are doing this. It's the Democrats. This is not Donald Trump's America. This is Barack Obama and Joe Biden's America. If it were happening in red cities, I'd say it was Trump's America. But it's not. It's happening in blue cities. Wake up, America. So I see numbers like this, and it doesn't really make sense that Donald Trump is so low in the polls. Healthcare is the number 2 issue, and the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, only has a net positive approval rating of 16%. 16. That's really, really low. All-time high, I'll admit, for the Affordable Care Act, but still pretty low, which says to me people are starting to forget how bad it was when it was introduced, and they're just kind of getting used to it. They're just getting used to it. It's the new normal. It's not so bad. But they forget what they had before. So that's the number 2 issue. How is he not winning in these polls? How is he so far behind? Why does it look like Donald Trump is going to lose the election? Well, Sean Spicer might have the answer. Sean Spicer, President Donald Trump's former press secretary, says he thinks he knows why Trump is being steadily beaten by former Vice President Joe Biden in recent polls. And it's not just because Trump is doing a poor job in pretty much every aspect, except when it comes to oppressing black people and the poor. Okay, yeah, whatever. No, in that regard, he's done a stellar job. Aligning himself with white supremacists, that's not true at all. He is decried white supremacists so much. This piece is utter crap, but this tweet from Sean Spicer is what we want to look at. Crucial takeaway in new poll showing why polls will continue to be an issue. Only 37% of Donald Trump voters want their friends and family to know they voted or how they voted, while 74% of Joe Biden supporters are comfortable with it being known. So less than 40%, okay, so 4 out of 10, less than, Donald Trump voters are going to share that they voted for Donald Trump. Whereas 3/4 of Joe Biden voters are comfortable sharing with who they voted for. Donald Trump voters aren't sharing who they voted for. So I think the undecided camp is going to be vastly swung towards Donald Trump come the election time. Because they're going to see people like Joe Biden and think, man, he's not really with it. And his people are the ones rioting and burning down cities and stealing plasma screen TVs and shoes. Donald Trump, on the other hand, he's repeatedly condemned Antifa. He's repeatedly condemned KKK and white supremacists. He tells his people, no, violence is bad. Joe Biden's only done that a couple of times. People are going to see the economy under Barack Obama, the slowest recovery from a recession in U.S. history. They're going to see how Donald Trump handled the coronavirus and how it was. This is the dirty little secret. Dirty little secret. Joe Biden didn't handle the coronavirus very well. Early on, Donald Trump handled it way more seriously than Joe Biden. And Joe Biden called Trump a racist for it, and a bigot, and a homophobe. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Donald Trump handled the coronavirus way more seriously than Joe Biden did. More seriously than Nancy Pelosi did. Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden were still walking around without masks open on the street in the middle of March. And Donald Trump was calling for the shutdown of travel from China in January. So tell me again how Democrats, you would have handled this much better than Trump did. You wouldn't have. Sorry. You can make those claims all you want, but the fact patterns say otherwise. Facts are pesky things always getting in the way, aren't they? Aren't they? So I think Donald Trump is going to win, because less than 4 out of 10 Americans are going to openly state that they're voting for Donald Trump, whereas 3/4 are going to openly state that they're voting for Joe Biden. I think Trump's going to win because he has secret voters that people still don't know about and that they're taking for granted, and they don't know that they're there. Thanks for watching. Like I said at the beginning of the video, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on this video, and share it with your friends. Help me grow this channel so that we can keep fighting disinformation in the social media sphere. See you tomorrow.